NFL Week 8 gets underway tomorrow with Dolphins-Falcons action in Atlanta. Miami, not very good. So, let's talk about the future. Mock Draft 2.0. We did a mock draft last week where I made a trade to draft Ty Simpson in the first round and also took Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. No trades today because we have the number 2 pick. So I would have thought it would be fun to just say, all right, let's stick at number 2 and let's make picks. In almost every round, Miami is a draft pick. Only round they don't have a pick in is round 6. And if you want more mock drafts, though, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, because I want to do more mock drafts. And as the Dolphins continue to stink, I want to make sure you guys are enjoying them. So if you are, hit that thumbs up icon. Number 2 pick in the draft, we're going quarterback. We're going Fernando Mendoza, the QB out of Indiana. Jets at number 1 ultimately went with Ruben Bain. Probably doesn't happen in the real life, but in this one, we'll take it because I'd love to have Mendoza join us in the Miami area because he is my guy. Through 8 weeks of the college football season, Fernando Mendoza is my QB1. You could have a lot of conversations about him, Lenore Sellers, Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, but when I go through all of them, there's no one that I enjoy watching more and believe in more than Fernando Mendoza. He's got the perfect blend of ceiling, but floor and already productive at the college level, being a practical 3-year starter. And he's a little bit older. He's 22.5 years of age, but nothing crazy there, redshirt junior. He was a 3-star recruit actually coming out of college and started at the University of Cal, but then transferred to Indiana this year to replace Curtis Rourke. Mendoza's got great size to him. 6'5", 225, and you see that size on display every single week. He's able to see over the offensive lineman. He's able to put enough touch on each pass. He can layer the football. He can throw an absolute seed over the middle of the field if he needs to, and he's got a pretty deep ball as well. He has been the most productive football quarterback at the college level. Completion percentage, ridiculous, 73.5%. A QB rating, damn near perfect of 136.3. And he just takes care of the football, man. I like Mendoza. When I watch him, I see a franchise guy. I do. He's got a strong arm. He's got a quick release. Hit the spiral. Every spiral looks pretty, I can't lie, at the college level because of that white stripe on the ball. I'm a big fan of Mendoza. He's got some mobility to him. I'm not going to say he's a dual threat, but he can move around and make things happen with his legs. I think it's very similar to Joe Burrow, to where I wouldn't expect him to beat you with his legs, but 3rd and 8, yeah, he can give you and deliver a backbreaker by scrambling, moving up in the pocket, and making things happen. You see some of his advanced numbers on screen right now. It's not like he's a check down Charlie, folks. Average depth of target, 9.2. It's phenomenal. He does get a lot of help from the screen game. There's no debating that. 243 of his yards come from the screen game, but I don't think that's crazy either. And you see the average time to throw as well, 2.57. Average in the NFL is 2.55. So it's not like he's sitting and running around in the pocket like a Caleb Williams to where he's having a lot of production because he's just running around. No, he's a pocket guy. He'll read the defense. He can throw it, excels in the RPO game, which I know a lot of people are concerned that Indiana's offense runs a lot of RPOs, but I do see the potential for him to be a pocket quarterback. But you could also incorporate a lot of those RPOs in your offense as well, because if you are able to create a scheme and system that is able to thrive on that and use his legs, use his quick decisiveness and accuracy, well, that's a good way to have success on offense. So if the Dolphins have a pick inside the top 3 or 5, should they draft a quarterback? It's a legit question because you still have Tua under contract potentially. Should Miami draft a QB? I say yes, but let me know what you say. The second pick in the second round, 34 overall. I'm going defense, going linebacker out of Ohio State, Sonny Styles. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, do we need a linebacker? Jordan Brooks under contract for 1 more year. We have also Tyrell Dodson on under contract again. I say yes, and I'll explain why here in a second. But Styles has been in Ohio State system for a very long time. He's got great size, 6'5", 243, was leading that defense a year ago to a national championship, and he's leading the #1 defense in the country right now. Ohio State's got two legit linebackers, Sonny Styles and Tyrell Shavers. Tyrell Shavers is the name. Styles has been super productive, man. I mean, I mentioned last season, 100 tackles, 6 sacks, 10.5 TFLs for the national championship Ohio State Buckeyes, but was also really productive as a sophomore as well in 2023, and is now showing it again here in 2025. Like, I just think Sonny Styles is a player that will immediately come into your football team and make you better. And that's what I am going to promote, guys. I said it. I don't really care about position at this point. The Dolphins roster is so bad and littered with under-talented players. If I think a player is good, I am going to take them. There might be one position to where I say I'll hang off and not draft, and that's running back. But offensive line, you take one if the best player available is an offensive lineman. Quarterback, linebacker, safety, don't matter. If you view them as the best player available, you take them because you just need to start elevating your floor if you're Miami, since this team sucks. And I'm going to head to the third round here and go back to the offense. I'm going tight end. Michael Trigg out of Baylor, the 66th overall selection. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, is tight end a top need? We don't really utilize the tight end a lot. Well, think about this. We're likely going to have a different offensive scheme and play caller next year. So maybe the tight end is going to be more important in that offense. But I am very high on Michael Trigg. And there's a high chance he gets drafted in the second round when it's all said and done late April. He's 6'4", 240. He's been productive for the Baylor Bears this season. The most productive season of his career, by the way. He's already surpassed his most productive season in the past, which was last year for Baylor, and it's been 7 games. And when you watch this guy play, he stands out, literally. He is a massive human being. I watched the Kansas State-Baylor game about 3 weeks ago. Michael Trigg had a pair of touchdowns and over 100 yards in that game, by the way. So maybe I'm influenced by that game, but he made an unbelievable contested catch over the middle of the field where he turns around, high points the ball, snags it, brings it down, puts the ball out with one hand, and runs another like 6-7 yards. And then I saw another go route down the sideline where it was a throw, a little bit high and outside from Sawyer Robertson, their quarterback, and he just goes out one hand, left hand, and plucks it out of the air. Guy's got a massive mitt on him. He's a great big target. I think he would be able to pick up the run blocking game well in the NFL due to that size, be an excellent third down target, a red zone threat. And think about this, guys. If you're drafting a young quarterback, what do young quarterbacks benefit from a ton? It is a big-bodied tight end they can throw to over the middle of the football field. We have seen it time after time again that young quarterbacks find success targeting the tight end early in their career. Michael Trigg would be a very good target, potentially for Fernando Mendoza, if this draft ultimately went this way in Miami. More picks to get to here, but this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. I made a ton of decisions in this mock draft. You make a ton of decisions every single day. The right decisions on PrizePicks can get you paid. They have so many awesome new features they rolled out this football season, one of them being stacks. You could pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more than on Achane rushing yards, receptions, and touchdowns? You could have all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. You can also now follow other players directly in the PrizePicks app and copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. My entry for this week, more than Bijan Robinson, 89.5 rushing yards, more than Jalen Waddle, 3.5 receptions, and less than Tua Tagovailoa, 32.5 longest completion. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. We move over to the third round. Miami has 2 third-rounders. This pick came in from the trade you made last year's draft where you traded a 4th-round pick to get a future 3rd-round pick from the Houston Texans. I'm going corner Keith Abney II out of Arizona State. This is a guy that can play on the outside. He's 6 foot tall, 190, true junior, so relatively young, maybe returns to the draft to try to improve his stock and become a 1st-rounder or a 2nd-round pick a year from now. But I also could see him being an early day 2 pick this year because he's been outstanding for Dillingham and the Sun Devils this year in coverage. 47.4% completion percentage allowed when targeted. 5 pass breakups, 1 interception, and a QB rating when targeted of 47.8. It's no surprise that a corner is off the board at some point in this mock draft. Miami has absolutely no future at the cornerback position. They have Rasul Douglas on a 1-year deal, Jack Jones on a 1-year deal, and nobody else really to hang your hat on. Like even Jason Marshall Jr., you don't feel confident about him even being on the roster a year from now because he hasn't been that good and has battled injuries. Keith Abney II, certainly a player I am monitoring throughout the rest of the season in the Big 12. 3 more picks. We'll head to the 4th round officially now. We're going to address an offensive line need here with J.C. Davis, the O-lineman from Illinois. The reason why I like Davis is because I think he has the potential to play 4 different positions in the NFL. At Illinois, he has played predominantly left tackle. And in his career, over the last 3 seasons, he has played only left tackle. But I think his size and his athleticism could allow him to play left guard or right guard in the NFL, as well as right tackle. So you take a swing here in the middle rounds on an offensive lineman that could play either tackle spot or either guard spot. He's been graded out really nicely on PFF this season for the Fighting Illini as the blindside protector for veteran quarterback Luke Altmaier. Now, the pressures aren't great. 10 pressures allowed, 2 sacks, but he's been excellent in the run game for Illinois. And when you watch his tape and watch him move, I think that's the part that I get the most excited about with Davis, is the athlete he is. He is a very good mover. He gets to that second level. He can sweep and pull and get out on the perimeter. I think Davis is a fascinating prospect that I'm keeping my eye on. And as an overarching talking point with the Miami Dolphins, you have to start preparing to replace Austin Jackson. 1st-round pick in 2020, it just isn't good. Like, unfortunately, he never fit the bill at left tackle. They moved him to guard. He wasn't great. Got moved to right tackle in 2023. Was awesome. Signs a 3-year extension, but gets hurt. Misses 7 games last year. He's already missed 7 games this year. Like, he's got 1 year left on his deal, but we have seen time after time after time, this is a player you can't trust to be on the football field. So you have to start preparing to replace Austin Jackson. He's got 1 year left on his contract. You could draft Davis and have him be a reserve lineman for you next year and learn behind Jackson in his final year. Or if you like what you see from Davis early, heck, I'd be willing to pull the plug and just start J.C. Davis right away at right tackle. But you could also have him have an open competition with Jonas Savionai at left guard because he sucks too. Good news is, if you draft an offensive lineman, there's a chance they could play right away because what you currently have outside of Patrick Paul and Aaron Brewer is dog shit. All right, moving on here with a couple more picks. You want more Dolphins mock drafts? Like the video, but also subscribe because we will be the best place for Dolphins draft coverage from now until late April. So get on it early by subscribing. In the 5th round, we're going with another weapon, wide receiver Nyck Harbor out of South Carolina. I know people are going to say, wide receiver? We don't need wide receiver. Yes, we do. Tyreek Hill is going to be cut after the year. And outside of Jalen Waddle, you got Nick Westbrook-Keeney, who's been a non-factor this year. And you have Malik Washington, who's only a slot guy. Tell you what, Nyck Harbor isn't a slot guy. He is a big play ex-wide receiver. 6'5", 235. This guy is a physical freak. And he hasn't been the most productive dude. I will admit right now, he is not a good route runner, and he struggles with drops a little bit. But if he's able to put it together at times, he looks as dominant as you could possibly look. He makes DK Metcalf look like a little JV high school player on the football field. That's how big this guy is. I mean, 6'5", 235, that's an edge rusher. This guy runs a 4.4 40-yard dash. And I say 4.4, I say sub. There's rumors out there when he was coming out of high school before enrolling at South Carolina, he ran a 4.24 at that size. I've also seen 4.34, 4.39. It's unclear what his 40-yard speed, straight line speed actually is, but it's clearly sub 4.4. And to run a sub 4.4 at 6'5", 235, that is ridiculous. I'd be willing to take the chance on him in the 5th round, create a weapon for Mendoza. You have Waddle and Harbor on the boundary. Yeah, opposing defenses are going to be concerned and worried about getting beat over the top consistently when you got those two speed demons. I'd be intrigued with drafting Nyck Harbor in early day 3. We round out the mock draft with a 7th round edge selection, Patrick Payton out of LSU. Last week we went with a defensive tackle, Gooden, out of LSU. This week we're going with an edge rusher. Good size to him from the Miami area as well, 6'6", 255. Been fine in production for LSU this year. 19 tackles, 1 sack, 3 PBU. Got great size, though. You're throwing darts here in the 7th round at this point. Payton intrigues me a little bit because of his size. I'm also always going to be partial to local kids. Why I also like Mendoza as well. Grew up a Dolphins fan from the Miami area. That makes me want to take him even more. All right, that will do it for our mock draft 2.0. 7 selections: Mendoza, Sonny Styles, Michael Trigg, Keith Abney, J.C. Davis, Nyck Harbor, and we rounded out with Patrick Payton. 7 selections, 4 in the first 3 rounds, 3 in day 3. Grade it. I want to see how you feel I did. If this ultimately is how the draft went in late April with that 2nd overall spot, how would y'all feel? A, B, C, D, or F. And like I mentioned earlier, we will continue to bring you daily videos. We'll be live tomorrow for Dolphins-Falcons Week 8, and we will continue to bring you the latest around this football team with news, rumors, draft, trade, everything in between. So subscribe today.